Good morning, Trump's family. Welcome back to my channel. Have a good day, everyone, and God bless you. Alright, let's get into the news this Wednesday morning. I'm going to read you a couple of articles. Trump family watched FBI raid on security footage. Lawyer. New York Post and CNN. Actually, New York Post first. Trump weighs releasing security footage of Mar-a-Lago raid. CNN. Trump considering releasing surveillance footage of FBI at Mar-a-Lago. And then there's Politico Playbook. Informant reports Joe Trump world. And this is regarding the informant of the Bureau raid on Mar-a-Lago. Then there was an article written in August, a little bit before. No, I'm sorry, months earlier. Regarding informants that were testifying are here. July 31st, Trump has to be rattled as Inner Circle gives testimony. Then you had years back, Michael Cohen testifying against Trump. These are the worst informants of all time. Now you have an informant that lied to the Bureau on trial in the Durham probe. Special counsel, he was a source for the Steele dossier, Dan Chanco. So these informants or sources never actually give any accurate information. Trump and they could indict Trump on a crime he didn't commit, they set him up on crimes he didn't commit. He never worked with the Kremlin. He was never installed or colluded with foreign adversaries. He did nothing wrong with Stormy in terms of campaign finance, at least, he did nothing illegal in Georgia or in New York. His tax returns were not the epicenter of criminality, and the committee in January failed to find any evidence that he organized a plot to overthrow the MCC, or usher or try or overthrow the United States government. You'd have to be a completely apoplectic imbecile to believe that. But we're talking about morally superior, highly educated Democrats, who can't they fit, like many of them physically can't listen to an idea or a viewpoint that's contrary to their own. It's like they get like they physically shake, because they just can't. The cognitive dissonance controls their entire being. So they can't possibly, not only can they not accept different viewpoints, they can even be friends with somebody who supports Trump, even if it's a lifelong friend, because they live within a world of cognitive dissonance, the perception of feeling morally superior, and ignorance is bliss. The less they know about the corruption on their political side, or the less they care about that corruption, the better they feel in judging others. Ladies and gentlemen, right now, this is a very important point. He knows that he knows who the informant is. The affidavit will list the informant, but perhaps in its redacted form, you're not really going to find out who the person is. The informant did not have classified or did not have the security clearance to rummage through Trump's boxes. So there's no evidence now, other than accusations, other than the search warrant, other than a judge signing off in a search warrant, which could easily be manipulated. We know that when people say, oh, it's not a Fourth Amendment violation, it was a search warrant signed off by a judge. Kevin Clinesmith, one of the agency attorneys at the Bureau, literally falsified evidence to deceive FISA judges, just to prolong investigations into Carter Page. He pled guilty for that. They utilize the Steele dossier to justify endless investigations and eventually a special counsel. Then when called out and when confronted with the fact that utilize the fake news dossier to investigate Trump, they said, well, it's not just the dossier, it was the meeting with Alexander Downer and George Papadopoulos. So when was the last time Democrats had an investigation started against them based on a meeting with somebody that had ties to Clinton and Giuliani or anyone else? And Alexander Downer has ties to both Clintons and their foundation. And so who cares if what he's notified America's intelligence agencies and said that George Papadopoulos knew about Clinton's emails, or that he knew about a plot to obtain Clinton's emails or the DNC emails? So you're going to trust one foreign diplomat, while at the same time accusing Trump of colluding with foreign diplomats and foreign intelligence agents. But that's the Democratic Party. That's media. That's the United States government leveled against Trump. And they found nothing. See, here's the thing. If you have a source in journalism, and your reporting is accurate, that means your source is a good source and you're a good journalist. If you constantly have unnamed sources, accusing Trump of everything under the sun, you're a hack, and you are simply a partisan activist. You're a Democratic Party mouthpiece, which is what most of journalism is today. You will not get a different article from the Washington Post, the New York Times, MSNBC, CNN, The Atlantic, Vanity Fair, Esquire, Mother Jones, The Nation. Well, we know those. But Time Magazine, New Yorker, New York Magazine, they have the same writer. It's the same editor. It's the same journalist. It's the same opinion pieces. It's Trump is bad, horrible for democracy, he committed a lot of crimes. How do we know? Well, he's been accused. And now we have an informant. And now we have people flipping and singing, and they take this like drugstore spy novel, like this cheap, poorly written crime novel, and they've turned it into Trump. People are gonna flip and shamed. The walls are closing in, all the informants notified that the authorities of Trump and now they're looking at the damage he's done to national security. Clinton had servers with top secret intel hacked almost certainly by the entire world for 4 years. And how she was able to transfer that top secret intelligence, SAP intel and classified data from secure government networks onto an unencrypted personal server unencrypted for 3 months, according to Forbes, Fortune, and Forbes and Fortune. And James Comey stated, yes, although there are potential violations of statutes regarding handling of classified data, he acknowledged that there were potential violations, but he said that no reasonable prosecutor don't say people aren't above the law. Of course they are. They're above the law of clone, Comey says, if Democrats say they are. And then with Trump, everyone knows that just trying to get him. They're just trying to get Trump, they don't really care if he's guilty. That's why I say be prepared for the possibility. I'm not predicting anything. But here's the possibility of them indicting Trump. And I mean, let people know that AJ has told you, there's a possibility that they indict him. Now this is Nostradamus telling you anything. I'm really not making a prediction, but I'm just kind of telling you emotionally and psychologically and spiritually. Prepare for the United States government to do anything possible to prevent democracy from taking place. That when I say the government, I mean the Democratic Party media and loyalists within the government, because there are good people within the United States government who see what's going on. Again, if he committed a crime, it wouldn't be partisan to say they're after him. Okay, or it would be partisan. It's not partisan. Now, it is certainly not like I don't run by political party. If Trump actually had servers with top secret intel, I wouldn't vote for him. I'd say, look, he's engaging in a pay-to-play scheme. He's getting hundreds of millions of dollars for his foundation. And they just allowed 20% of U.S. uranium capacity to be sold to Vladimir in Moscow. And I speak in terms of algorithmically friendly statements. So that's why if I'm speaking in bizarre roundabout terms, but see again, he didn't commit a crime. He knows the informant, almost certainly. And he knows the informant doesn't have the goods on him, because there are no goods on him. If indeed, he had classified data, it was a problem with it was miscommunication, or, an outgoing president leaving with documents that he deserves to have for a library. And if you say, oh, he doesn't deserve a noose to get the book leveled at him, well, then why wasn't the book leveled to Clinton? Don't talk about the rule of law, when you don't even abide by the rule of law. Don't talk about the rule of law when you don't abide by the rule of law. And so, you have the video footage, you know what he knows what was taken, he knows if any criminal conduct was taking place. He knows if they took things that had nothing to do with you, he knows that they took things that have nothing to do with what he's accused of. And he knows that they're going to stop at nothing to go after him. The interesting thing is James Comey set a precedent. He's not going to, if he gets indicted, he's not going to get convicted because Comey set that precedent. There's no intent to commit a crime. There obviously was intent to commit a crime with Clinton and servers, and top secret intel. It wasn't just her emails, it was her top secret intelligence on servers running outside the US government while halfward communication was deleted. Okay, and I want to Hillary Trump 2024. I want to relive 2016. We need to relive 2016 and move past that once and for all. But the idea that he should be sent to prison as a former president, who had boxes for a library, who was in contact with the National Archives, and the Department of Justice, and the Federal Bureau of Investigation in June, already went to Mar-a-Lago. And you mean to tell me that this is worse than what Clinton did, who had secret servers that the President of the United States of America didn't even know of? Now, the question is, why were they secret? But see, again, it's like this is like, everyone can see what's taking place. The entire world knows that Democrats and loyalists within the US government are going after Trump. The entire world knows this. You'd have to be a fool to believe that there's no politics at all. They're investigating Trump and Georgia. They're investigating Trump in New York. They're investigating Trump for January. They were investigating Trump for the Mueller probe. Oh my God. He must be guilty, or they can't find anything on him and they have to investigate because the actual crimes of Hunter and Hillary are so profound that they know crimes were committed and they know that they're covering up those crimes, so they in a public relations stunt, because you have, like I said, almost every political publication out there going to bat for Democrats and lying on their behalf and suppressing information, and we know when push comes to shove they say, well, we had to suppress information. Thank you very much. WWG1WGA. Give me your thoughts below and hit subscribe.